In this video, I'm going to take a look at TTARTISAN's new full-frame Cine Lens, the 35mm T2.1. What makes this Cine Lens so special and unique is that it has a slider that allows you to adjust the look of your bokeh in your videos and still photos. I'll be showing you how the slider produces different styles of out-of-focus rendering, from a soft dreamy look to more clearly defined bokeh and bubbles, a feature that TTARTISAN are calling a dual bokeh design. And I'll talk about another big advantage of the lens, its ability to focus close up and deliver impressively sharp results top down. TTARTISAN sent me the lens to try, and they're not paying me to produce this video. It's not the first lens to have a Bokeh controlled slider or ring. A few conventional camera lenses have this kind of feature, but it's certainly the first I've used on a Cine lens, and I'm excited to show you the results. The lens I've been sent is the Sony E-mount version. The lens also comes in other mounts. As I unbox the lens, you can see it's quite large compared to conventional camera lenses. It weighs around 638 grams without the lens caps, and it has an 82mm filter size. Here's the lens on my Sony a7 IV. I use the lens handheld and on tripods. The lens has 10 elements in 7 groups and 11 aperture blades with an unclicked aperture mechanism, perfect for videography. For those of you who are new to the world of Cine lenses, the f-stops are actually called t-stops. T stands for transmission, and Cine lenses are designed to give you more accurate aperture measurements to support consistent exposure levels when shooting and reshooting scenes. The lens is very solidly made, and the focus and aperture rings are well damped. Now let's see how the lens's bokeh control slider works, and I'll be showing you a mix of still images and videos to demonstrate the impact of using the slider. On the lens, the slider goes from soft to bubble, and the basic idea is that the soft end of the slider is designed to produce softer bokeh on wide open settings than that produced at the bubble end of the slider. In other words, the bubble end is designed to produce more detailed definitions in the background blur and the highlights. I'll show you the practical impact of these effects as we go along. You can, by the way, set the slider at any point in between, but I'll be concentrating on the extreme ends of the slider. When you move the slider, say from soft to bubble, the first thing you'll notice through the viewfinder is that it adjusts the focal point outwards as you slide it. This clip demonstrates the impact looking down some railings. I actually found this effect quite useful in its own right, as it's another way of smoothly transitioning the focus point in your video, rather than using the lens's focus ring. Because of this movement, the minimum focus distance of both settings is different. On the soft setting, the MFD is 0.28 meters, and the distances are set out on a white scale on the focus ring. For the bubble setting, the MFD is 0.55 meters, and the distance scale is engraved in orange. Here's a comparison of the setting's two different MFDs. The soft setting allows you to get nice and close up to your subject. I should point out right at the start that if you use the soft setting and stop down the lens, as I've done with these images, the results are not soft at all. They're really quite sharp, something I'll talk about later. In terms of using the lens in practice, I wasn't expecting such a strong impact on the in-focus points when you use the slider. All the action takes place inside the lens barrel, while the external body doesn't alter in length. Sliding from soft to bubble, or the other way around, you need to rotate the focus ring quite a long way to refocus, if you want to keep your focus on a stationary subject. For example, if you're focusing to 3 meters on the soft setting, and you move to the bubble setting, you'll need to rotate the focus ring all the way around to get that 3-meter focus. So it's not a quick switch between bokeh styles, but that's okay once you get used to it, and arguably you don't want to be switching bokeh styles all the time. That would probably be too disconcerting for the viewer. For the next section of this review, I'll be concentrating on wide open images, given that one of the main advantages of using the slider is to change the background blur from a soft blur to a more defined blur, or vice versa. Wide open, there's quite an obvious change in rendering between the soft and the bubble settings, if you're viewing subjects at the same focal distance. I'll flick back and forth for a while so you can see the differences between the settings. I think the lens really does deliver on its promise. The out-of-focus areas are softer for the soft setting, and more defined and busier at the bubble setting. Here's a video taken wide open, panning across an ivy tree, and the differences in the out of focus rendering from the settings are pretty obvious. One thing you can notice immediately about the soft versus bubble setting is that the soft setting produces some barrel distortion. It tends to stretch the subjects outwards and bend straight lines, something that the bubble setting doesn't do. Looking at still images, the soft setting is quite soft when you're wide open. The bubble setting, on the other hand, is relatively sharp right from wide open. Images from the soft setting remind me of images produced by soft focus lenses, and this is not necessarily a big disadvantage for video work. Indeed, it can be an advantage. If you want a softer, more dreamy look to your videos, then I think the soft setting is perfect. The soft focus can give your subjects a glamorous glow, a sort of Hollywood cinematic glow. Something I took advantage of on this foggy London morning. I've sped this up a little bit, obviously. Now on to how the lens renders out of focus highlights and bubbles across the two settings. First of all, on the soft setting, given that you can focus closer to your subject, you can produce much larger bubbles, and it's important to note that the lens still produces bubbles on this soft setting. It's just that they're softer and less well defined than the bubbles from the bubble setting. As you can see with the bubble setting, there are clearer lines around the bokeh bubbles, sometimes giving the appearance of soap bubbles, the kind of bubbles produced by triplet lenses in particular. I'll show you some comparisons with nice collections of bubbles, so you can see the impact of the bokeh controller. Generally, I do like how the more defined bubble bokeh setting still produces reasonably smooth blur wide open. It's by no means a riot of busyness. And I do like how the soft setting renders out of focus highlights close up. However, as this comparison demonstrates, the soft setting is sometimes too soft wide open in some situations compared to the bubble setting, most notably where there's a strong bright light source, creating a glow around the in-focus areas. So unless you're specifically after a more dreamy look, where you want a soft glow, you can stop down a little or switch to the bubble setting. So that's a look at the wide open bokeh. Stop down, where you're not so interested in capturing out of focus blur, I found the lens produces nice sharp results with good colours, using either the soft or bubble settings. Here's a sample of the videos I took with the lens stopped down. I also use the lens in my camera's black and white setting. I think the video output looks very striking and is rather beautiful. While this is a Cine lens and not a conventional camera lens, if you do use the lens for still photography, it performs very well stopped down. You can see a slight vignetting to still photos sometimes on my full-frame camera, but it's not a big deal, and it doesn't show up on the video framing I use. If you like to use flare as a cinematic effect, then the lens produces some attractive results, stop right down, both on the soft and the bubble setting. Another major benefit of this lens is its very sharp close-up capabilities, ironically when the lens is set to soft, but it's stopped down. I'm talking about stop down because if you stop down the lens past T4 on the soft setting, the images and videos it produces become very sharp. There's no softness anymore. Here's a still photograph taken of the bunch of tulips. And if I take a crop of the top tulip, you can see just how sharp the lens is on soft setting stop down. This capability is very useful for close-up video work, for example product shots, or close-up portrait-style shots. Indeed, any narrative you care to think about and write about to create interesting visual content. I've really enjoyed trying out this new lens. The bokeh style slider is quite intriguing. When I first got the lens, I was concerned it might be a little gimmicky, But the more I use it, the more I can see its intrinsic value. It's a clever and useful idea. Hats off to TTARTISAN for developing and launching it. When you use the lens wider open, there is a noticeable difference in how the soft and bubble settings render out of focus blur, and this gives you a strong creative control how you want your videos, or even your still photographs, to look. The soft setting is soft wide open, but it's a dreamy soft for more artistic types of cine work, and it delivers a lot of charm in the right situations and lighting. The bubble setting gives you well-defined results wider open, and some neat soap bubble bokeh from out-of-focus highlights. And if the bokeh is too busy for you, you can always go for a slide position somewhere in between bubble and soft. In addition to the bokeh styles, I was very impressed with the lens's sharp close-up results on the soft setting. When you stop down, the results are not soft at all, and this close-up capability is so useful for videos when you want or need to get close to your subjects. With all the videography possibilities across all the settings and across all the different T-stops, if you buy this lens, I think you'll be exploring all its creative possibilities for a long time. There were occasions while I was out and about with the lens when I wondered whether this might actually be a valuable lens just for still photography. It's an attractive focal length on full-frame sensors and is fast. Ultimately, I think the lens is too bulky for this purpose, but I sure as hell did enjoy taking stills with the lens. If you're interested in the lens, then I've included an affiliate link to TTARTISAN in the description below, and if you use this link, you'll be supporting my channel. Please let us know what you think of this lens and my video in the comments below, and also subscribe if you haven't already done so. And until the next time, all the best.